Hey guys, Chief Fruity here. In this video I'm going to show you guys how I made drop number 17, the sound design that went into it and kind of my thought process for working on this, and let's get into this. So the first thing I did differently with drop 17 rather than all my other drops is I started with a riser instead of just going right into the first count of the first drop. I went in through a rise. And by doing this, it gave it some more context, and that's kind of something I wanted to do before getting into the drop. So let's get into this. So the first thing I did when working on this drop was faded in the saw right here. And it's just fading in with a filter, a volume, and a pluck. And on the saw, I have some harmonizers onto it, a pluck, 3 voices of unison, some vibrato, I pitched down, I put on some chorus, a very slight chorus, and then some reverb. Now with the pluck up, this is mainly how it's heard in the song. On track 8, I put on some reverb. Because since this is kind of like an EDM style drop, I did want to put a lot of reverb on this because, you know, in EDM, you do want to drench everything in reverb, pretty much except for the drums. So that's pretty much what I did here. There's a reverb in Harmore, and then there's this reverb here. I know this one isn't very big, this one's doing very little, but it's still adding to the overall reverb. And I have another reverb and effector. This one's doing most of the heavy lifting. Then here's an EQ. I have, and as you can see, this isn't really doing very much, this low boost, but it's doing a subtlety, kind of like getting the ambiance of this synth, which is the little frequencies in this low range. It's boosting those so you can hear them a little bit better, make those out to kind of contribute to an ambiance for this drop. So that's what I have here. And then I have some chorus on here. And that's what I have for this saw. Nothing too complicated. Just a pretty basic saw with chorus. And I have this bass here, going on for most of the drop. So this bass is inside of a Harmore. So this is running an A and B section. And I did make this preset off of the Dubstep 3 preset. So yeah. So I did have something to start off with, but I did make it sound very different because Dubstep 3 is like a wobbly thing. I got rid of the wobbles. I don't know what was making those because this was a long time ago when I did this, but I got rid of that wobble, and I put in more of just a flat saw. So let's start with the A section. With the A section, I have a full harmonizer amount, not with the stir. 3 voices of unison. It's on this wave, which is like a distorted saw wave. And then see the second filter is all the way down, and then that's pretty much it for part A. It's nothing too complicated. Part B. For part B, it's the same exact wave. Less harmonizer, but it's still there. 2 for the frequencies. So it got boosted up 1 octave, and that will come into play when I show you the difference between A and B. And then for B, it has 2 voices in unison and a low filter. So I'll play you just A for now. It still sounds pretty much the same, but you will notice a change when I play B for you. So you'll notice that in B, it's playing this. And why I have that going, like, at all, is because you kind of hear that little high-pitched squeal that's kind of wobbling in the background is accenting some parts. It gets the bass a little bit more interesting, so it's not a flat, even tone. It kind of has some balance, some hills in it, so it sounds a little more interesting, a little bit more engaging. I think that's a little better for a bass line. Have those little subtleties in there. And then that's why the filter is down so low, because these high frequencies were like really loud, and I didn't want those to be super loud and like be the main part of the bass. So you cut down the frequency a little bit, so they're still there. They're just softened a lot. And then in the effects tab, I have some distortion and reverb and a heating compression to kind of even this out a lot more. Looks like that's pretty much it for this bass inside the Harmor. On to track 9, I have a Vocodex. Just run it through some Vocodex, boosted the band gain multiplier, and the vocal type. I boosted the wetness, kept the SG right where it was, because it didn't, like, it's good to have the compression in the Vocodex for stuff like this. I have a Maximus, cutting off even more signal, and then an EQ. Cutting some highs, and boosting some bass. Without the EQ, it's like this. Let's open up another EQ so I can just see what's going on. And that's like a lot's going on up in the high range. So with this EQ, sounds a little better. So that's that bass. Here I have a noise rise and drop. So it's just noise with a filter. Nothing too complicated there. So this is the final bass, and I'll go into drums after this. And then this bass is another Harmor. So this one, I made this one from scratch. Basically, it's just a plain Harmor saw wave. As you can tell, everything in here is pretty much default. Everything in here is default. And then we go to the mixer track, and this is where I do all the effects. Run it through a Vocodex with a ton of compression, just to really even everything out, which isn't really from Harmor, because Harmor is coming straight. Like, everything in here is default, so nothing in there needs to be changed. Like, the volume level's flat. That's really what I'm trying to say. And then here, the reason I have this compression on is because when it goes through the Vocodex, then the audio level changes a little bit from that. It's not from the Harmor, because the Harmor is just a flat saw. Like, saws are just flat. So this one changes that up a little bit. So I put in the compression to smooth out the Vocodex addition. An EQ here, because I took out lows so it's not too muddy like this. And I took out some highs just to get rid of that buzz. And then the vocal effects. And then a Maximus to compress everything after all that. So I got all nice and flat. And then this is X, and then this is Y inside the effector. And it's playing the exact same pattern as the lead. So that's it for just those 3 basses, pretty much. For the drums, see if I have anything interesting to show you guys with the drums. Okay, so let's look at the kick. So pretty basic there. See, just put some reverb on there. Pretty basic. The crash, I don't really like this crash that much anymore. When I use this, I like this kind of thing. When I first made this drop, I like this crash, but nah, I don't like it as much anymore. And then I have these claps. And what I did for these claps is I played multiple notes at once to simulate multiple pitches. Like so it's a more defined clap rather than just like a middle C. Because sometimes it sounds a little boring. Put a little bit of reverb on those. And I know like this doesn't make a chord, but I wasn't really going for a chord. I wanted it to be kind of dissonant, like different pitches in each clap. As you can see, these are off time a little bit. That's kind of to simulate like more of a group of people clapping rather than just like a machine. And then there's the snare. That's kind of used a lot in EDM, stuff like that. Just put a bunch of reverb on there, like just like turn that up, and then put on an effect over the reverb and over here, and then you have one of these. And then yeah, that's pretty much it for this drop. Nothing too complicated. Just write an EDM melody, put some claps and kicks to it, and quarter notes, and there it is. And maybe add like a noise sweep, and then you get the EDM or EDM-like drop. Because this drop isn't EDM. If it was EDM, I'd drop this down to like 120-ish, 128, but it's not EDM. So I wasn't really going for it to be EDM. Kind of EDM dubstep kind of dance thing. Just kind of to music. So that's drop 17. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and be sure to subscribe to my channel and stick around for next week's video. I upload here every Friday. I hope to see you guys soon. Until then, bye.